On this week's episode of Circles Off, powered by Pinnacle Sportsbook, we're going to get into whether or not you need winter tires on the East Coast during the winter season. But most importantly, we're going to go into tweets that trigger us this week. There are a lot. People are starting to galaxy brain themselves into all sorts of these sports betting strategies. We will cover those in the words of the famous Brad Powers. All right, let's hit the books. Welcome to Circles Off here on the Hammer Betting Network, powered by Pinnacle Sportsbook. I'm Rob Pizzola, joined by my good friend Johnny from betstamp. It's episode number 76. Obviously,
this is the one and only Pernell Carl Subban. PK Subban recently retired. Was a controversial player for a bit. Obviously, played on a rival team to us in the peak of his career in the Montreal Canadiens. But much respect. Grew up around this area. PK Subban, legend of the game.
For sure. Some very, very good offensive linemen have worn 76. Orlando Pace, Hall of Famer. Dwayne Brown, current NFLer, 76. But in the NBA, only one player in the history of the NBA has worn 76. Mid-90s, biggest white man. Do you remember?
The mid-90s?
Yeah.
No.
I'm pretty sure he was in Space Jam, but I'm not 100%. Sean Bradley.
Don't know him.
Okay, Sean Bradley was like the prototypical big white man. He was, I think he's like 7'5". He's an absurdly big height.
Okay.
7'6". 7'6". Sean Bradley, nicknamed the Stormin' Mormon.
7'6".
7'6".
That's crazy.
No MLB players of interest that have worn 76. As usual, Circles Off is sponsored by Pinnacle. Pinnacle is the world's sharpest sportsbook. It's now available to players in Ontario. Find out what professional bettors have known for decades. Pinnacle is where the best bettors play. You must be 19 plus in Ontario. Please play responsibly. We always preach that, and not available in the United States. Me and Johnny talk about it all the time. We preach line shopping. We think that's extremely important. We would never consider betting without Pinnacle being one of our sports books. Low hold, win more, lose less when you are betting with Pinnacle. Lots of crazy stuff happened over the course of the past week. In this episode, we will do a Tweets That Trigger Us segment, and believe me, there was so many to choose. We could have ran a 5-hour episode on the amount of tweets that I saw this week. We are in like the galaxy brain era of sports betting, is what I want to call it. There's so many new people to the space right now that are convincing themselves of stuff that's meaningful, and it's hypocritical for me not to call myself out, because I was like this when I was younger, right? There's certain things that you just think are going to work for you, and then like it works in a very short sample, and you start telling people to do it. When I was young, I used to go to literally a free picks website every day when I was in high school, and even in early college days. And I would go through every single capper and just click on their free pick. I wouldn't buy their package. It'd be like a list of 25 people, and I'd chart them all in Excel. And there would be guys that would start, they go like 14-7 in 21 games. And I would just start tailing their free picks because I had no concept of like small sample size, complete randomness in sports. And now we're getting to all sorts of stuff nowadays, like the fade the public stuff, the books know, Vegas knows, games are fixed, this and that. There's like a million things we're going to get into today, which like
There's some good stuff coming on Twitter right now. There is some good shit, that's for sure.
There's definitely some good stuff. There was an announcement from Spanky this week. Bet Bash will be happening in August of 2023. I'm very much looking forward to that event.
Bet Bash 2023. I think Rob and I will both be there. Early commits. Yeah, I mean, listen, the value in the betting space from networking is unparalleled. It's very valuable in every single industry, but in betting specifically, like just being able to, bounce ideas off other sharp minds or other people who are just in the space looking to, try to either earn money gambling or have fun gambling. It's an awesome opportunity. Recommend that, everyone who has the means, time off, stuff like that, to check it out and potentially, grab your ticket and head on out. It's held at Circa Sportsbook in Las Vegas. Get the hotel up at the D.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe we'll see you there.
You know what I love about those events? Derek Stevens, who we've had on Circles Off previously, talking about the Circa Millions and Circa Survivor, he just like posts up with everybody at the events. Just like the owner of Circa, he's just there in the mix, loves to grab drinks with everyone. Like, we've seen the evolution of Bet Bash, which has been pretty cool, actually, though. Because, like, first Bet Bash, just like a one-night event.
In
New Jersey, rooftop bar. In like during COVID times as well. One of my last memories of Dink, actually, Dink was there in his, I think, Quebec Nordiques jersey, or Wendell Clark Quebec Nordiques jersey.
Clark?
I'm pretty sure it was a Wendell Clark Quebec Nordiques jersey.
Yeah. Yep, that's where he was in that jersey. That's right. The blue Nordiques, great jersey.
But that was like roughly a 5-hour event, open bar. Cram a lot of people into a rooftop patio, open bar, 5 hours. It gets out of hand. I'm not saying that was like out of hand, like, you know, fights or anything like that, but it was an event, you know what I'm saying? But it was a one-nighter, went by like this. Great to make some connections there. Last year was the first one that Spanky held at Circa. I tried to attend everything there. Also, I'm a good friend. Spanky, remember that I'm a good friend. He doesn't, by the way, Spanky does not pay us to promote this or anything like that. But I tried to attend all the events with him. Including the Alan Boston movie review on night one, which I can't even remember what the movie was, but I found it very funny to watch Alan Boston critique the movie after the fact. It's like some gambling movie that I never see. It's like from the 70s or 60s or something like that.
Well, we'll see you guys all there this year, hopefully. I'm sure we'll talk about it again as it comes closer to the lead up and as we have, you know, a little bit more information on like exactly who might be speaking there, who might be interested in, or who might be doing certain events, stuff like that. But yeah, awesome stuff. Love the community coming together. And I do feel like, you know, for the most part, amongst the more sharper betting community right now, at least, it is least hostile as it's been over the past, like, you know, call it 10 years, in my opinion right now. So I know, you know, a lot of the people who were typically like, you know, attacking people and stuff like that, it's now like, all right, we've all banded together and like, you know, we just get triggered by other people's tweets now instead of our own, which is kind of good, but kind of bad also.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think people just getting older and realizing that, like, you know, it's not, you don't need to go after a guy for a certain thing, like whatever. I personally have never gone after anyone.
No, you're very quiet on social.
Twitter,
you use Twitter just to, like, you know, stay up to date, so on. And so you use it in a different capacity than a lot of other people. Like, we interviewed Ferris a few weeks ago, right? And asked him off air beforehand, do you want me to promote your Twitter? He's like, I don't tweet. Like, I just use Twitter for news and to keep up with stuff. And that's one way. For me, I was always immersed in Twitter at the beginning. And, you know, my life is, it's come full circle. It's like a complete 180. Because when I first started on Twitter, 2010 now, something like that, I was the people that we rip or critique. I shouldn't say rip. That we critique on tweets that trigger us. I was that person. I had a lot of people who would come after me specifically and say, hey, like, just so you know, what you're saying doesn't make any sense, and I would argue to the death. Like, I was that person.
Rob Pizzola joined July 2010.
July 2010. Okay, so, like, it's been, we're going on, you know, it's 12 and a half years now. And I was that guy. Like, you know, there was a community in Twitter, still exists, but less so, called Seville, Contrarianville, right? And a lot of those guys in the early going hated me. A lot of them still hate me, probably because they still think back to those days in particular when I was just like a pure recreational bettor and thought that I wasn't. So now it's like our turn to educate, but do it in a way where it's not entirely hostile, because that was what got me back in the day. It's never constructive criticism. It was, you're an idiot. And try not to do that nowadays.
Well, you still do that.
I still do that. I try not to, but I still do. We're going to get into a few here that definitely, I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard not to. All right, Zach, let's hit it. Let's do tweets that trigger us.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
I've never seen you mad.
I get peeved.
Why are you in such a bad mood?
What do you care?
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Why you have to be mad? It's a minus 37 in the winter months. It's very cold in Toronto now too. It sucks.
Yeah, snow outside.
Snow. Oh, it's brutal.
Had to get my tires changed.
Yeah,
that sucks.
It's the time of the year where you have to check the NFL weather reports on like Monday morning to see what's shaping up for the weekend. Bills Browns this weekend, total move from like 47.5 to 43.5 in an hour or so.
You getting snow tires on your car?
So
do you have to or no?
So I have 2 cars. I have the Tesla, and then I have a Chevy Volt.
By the way, for anyone who wants to rip him that he has a Chevy Volt, that is the most all-time rippable car of all time.
So the Chevy Volt, purchased in 2018, was at that time. Here's my life story, by the way. Like, all of you care about this. The Ontario government had a very big rebate for electric cars.
They could have gave that thing out free. I still wouldn't have taken it.
The price of that car was $45,000. The government gave a $15,000 rebate. So it's $30,000, okay, is what we paid for that car in 2018. I'm trying to sell that car right now. I can sell that car for $30,000. Wow. I literally have driven the car for 4 years. I don't like the car.
Yeah. Okay. So basically what you're saying is for 4 years, you got to drive around for free in that dusty piece of shit car. So what's the value in that?
Agree. So here's the thing. Until I drove a better car, I didn't really put priority. Seriously, I didn't put priority on driving a better car. Like, for me, when I was younger, it was always like, cars are just like a waste. I just need to go from here to there. Like, I'm just going to drive whatever. I never even considered buying a nicer car at any point in life until we did our first betstamp trip to Florida. We worked out of, where were we?
It's like just outside Fort Myers area.
Yeah. Like between Fort Myers and Naples.
Yeah.
It was an older community. It was the best. Cape Coral?
Yeah. It's called Cape Coral. Cape Coral.
Cape Coral. Okay. Great spot. But anyways, one of Johnny's friends who lives there owns a Tesla and used to come by the betstamp house for, the month that we were there. And eventually I'm like, all right, like, I was very anti Elon Musk at that point because I was a crypto owner. He was messing around with the prices of Bitcoin.
Yeah, he raised it, though. Give him credit. He raised it at one point and then also sank it back down. I think he was probably a slight net positive.
I just like to let, I don't like outside influence on stuff. It's just another complication in terms of crypto. But your buddy took me out for a boot in the Tesla, and I was like, oh boy, I'm going to have to go home and get myself one of these. So long story short, I have 2 cars. The Chevy Volt is driven so infrequently. It's parked in my garage. The Tesla on the driveway, the Volt in the garage, but don't get, but it still had,
why is that?
The Chevy Volt still has the winter tires on from last year. Like, I literally drive it so infrequently.
That's awesome.
That I've not needed to change the tires a couple times.
Yeah. By the way, I'm not saying that Rob got like it's not like a rusted old Chevy Volt. It was a new Chevy Volt at the time. I'm just saying the Chevy Volt itself is that bad to look at and both drive.
It's a hybrid. I could go 120 kilometers, 80 miles, something like that, on electric, which was huge for me because I don't drive far. This is like driving from my home to this studio is probably the furthest I drive over the course of the year. Occasionally, some golf courses a little bit further, but like rarely because my home course is pretty close. This is the furthest drive for me. So I can get away. This is cheap Rob talking now, but like, and especially in the winter, like not having to fill up your tank in the winter.
That is the gold mine.
Yeah.
Is just like to get out of the car.
It's not even about the cost.
It's the cold, pumping the gas. Like it's, you know what I would pay? Like there's no self-serve around here. Like there was back in the day, or full serve, whatever it is. It is all.
Yeah, it's all self.
It's all self-serve. There's no full serve where you still have the gas attendant pump the gas for you. I would pay a stupid amount in the winter for that service.
Yeah, and your hands get all like chapped and stuff.
Yeah, like it's cold. It's cold. Like it's really. There's days where it's really cold. Who wants to do that? Get out of your car.
No, I'm with you. But even when it's not cold, like just the saving the trip to the gas station is awesome.
It's the best, man. Just getting home, plugging in the car.
All right. Anyways.
Yes.
Apologies to everyone.
How did that start?
I asked if you're getting are you getting winter tires on the Tesla?
Probably.
Do you
not.
need them?
So here's the thing. Like we
Let's
both
keep going.
Well, no. It's for those out there. I'd be interested to know. I don't like to be reckless, obviously, but like I barely drive. I don't take the car out in bad conditions for the most part, and the tires are so new because it's a fairly new car that I feel like the grip is pretty strong. It'll be okay.
It claims they're all seasons, but like we do live in a harsher environment where in the winter, you might want the winter tires for added safety.
It absolutely makes a huge difference. Like the difference between all seasons and winter tires makes a huge difference in slippery conditions. But like I'm rarely driving in bad conditions, like almost exclusively not.
Charge me like 1G and then put those on my car automatically without me having to do anything, and I'm doing it.
But also
the fact that I have to go there, then get a ride, come back is just
that's another thing, man. Like you already had to go through like the license ordeal.
Yeah, exactly. I've already given my thing for the month.
My wife had to go get a new passport a couple days ago. She had to wait outside for like 7 hours.
That's the worst.
I mean, like I'm all about convenience, right? If I need winter tires, if I need that, then I'll do it. But also, like, there's back orders on the Tesla winter tires as well.
No, you can't get those ones. You have to just go get ones from Canadian Tire.
But then it feels like doesn't feel the same.
All right, let's get into the tweets that trigger.
Before we actually get into something serious here, Rob's looking sharp today. You notice what he's wearing?
Yeah. No, I know. He's trying to show me up. It doesn't matter. I will only ever wear in the winter a hoodie and a hat or something. Like I'm not that guy. That's the reason I started this, so I don't have to wear dress clothes.
I do like to dress up. People like everybody has their own like obviously, style and things that work for them. Some people all the time are like, "Oh, how do you always wear jeans? Like jeans are so uncomfortable." It's like I'm never uncomfortable in jeans. Like I never ever notice them. So to me, it's not a problem.
No, fair enough.
Like my friend Austin is just like he'll in the cold, like he'll be wearing shorts in his house or whatever. He can be as comfortable as possible. But like to me, that's not an issue. I'll lay down on the couch in jeans and I don't even care.
Yeah, no, I mean for me, that's literally one of the main reasons I started my own biz was just so I could just do it. Like I don't have to dress up in like dress pants and a suit every day.
Yeah,
or like
producer Zach is dressed in poverty today.
Yeah.
No, you're looking okay, buddy.
Do you have the your socks, your pants tucked into your socks?
No.
Okay.
Just how I'm sitting.
Yeah, I see.
I'm not gonna pull a goodie. Come on.
What do we think? What do we think about
tweets,
that? By the way, we'll get into the tweets.
Oh, guys, come on.
No,
this is brutal.
This is a sports betting podcast. I get it, but that so when we say tweets that trigger us, this is lifestyle that triggers me. The socks tucked into the pants tucked into the socks. I'll never understand that look.
Never did it.
It just looks very wrong all the time.
People from my high school used to do that.
But what is the point?
The cool kids.
Like,
we have someone here who does it.
Yeah. Josh Goodwin does it in the office. I think I've seen Luke do it before as well.
Okay, well, if I see it, I'll roast them.
All right, so this is not lifestyle that triggers us, but it does in a sense. All right, tweets that trigger us. Where are we starting, Zach? The one we got up right now?
Yeah.
Okay, this is one of my favorite of all time. In this segment, it is up there on my Mount Rushmore of favorite tweets that trigger us.
Which one?
This one on the screen right now.
Yeah.
From Gambling Fetish. Interesting name. I mean, what's his actual at? Rax Got Me?
Yeah.
At Rax Got Me. All right. Stanford, you owe me, with a ton of exclamation points afterwards. And he includes his screenshots from FanDuel, which are a long shot parlay. It's a 9-leg parlay that pays plus 37,000 essentially. And he lost by 1 leg. The leg was Stanford. Stanford in this parlay, that one individual leg, is almost plus 1,200. It's plus 1,160.
Every other leg.
There's some other underdogs
he put
here.
some live bets in. I believe that was the Stanford live, by the way, in case anyone's like, "Oh, that wasn't the bet on Stanford." It was the Utah game. They were down 14-7 at the half, and they got absolutely mashed in the second half.
There are a ton of live bets in here. Like even some of the hockey ones are Los Angeles Kings minus 2,500 live. There's some football ones, San Diego State. I mean, he did cash a decent underdog on San Diego State live, plus 260. But at the end of the day, Stanford doesn't owe this guy anything. Because you know what Stanford was? They were 12-1 to win.
Exactly.
And Stanford is as Johnny would say, the equivalent of its own parlay.
That's literally its own parlay. That's a 5-team parlay, roughly. That's a 4-team parlay would be plus 1,000 roughly. That's roughly like fair odds 4 to 5-team parlay, depending on what juice you're putting in there. So basically, yeah, he lost his big parlay, but he didn't actually that's like saying lost by the hook, got 8 of 9, and then you put the first 8 or like minus 1,000s, and then the last one's like a plus 3,300. LA Kings win the cup. That's not going to lose.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like this one is actually so funny, man. Like when I first saw this one, I was almost crying of laughter because I get it. Like you lose by one game, people are upset about that, but you're talking about a 12-1 underdog. Like, I'm sorry.
We don't have it on here, but how about that guy who cashed out of that Miles Sanders bet? Did you see that one?
I did see that one.
This guy bet like a bunch of alt overs on the running back rushing yards, and he hit like the first 5 or something, and then it was all down to Monday night Miles Sanders, and he ended up cashing out. I will say, odds on the cash out, not horrible. I would have also cashed out. It was worse odds than what he bet. However, like that Miles Sanders bet was just god awful at plus 660. So I actually didn't mind the cash out at that price. But yeah, he won a lot of money. Good for him. Parlay, was that going to win long term? Absolutely not. Was it probably honestly one of the biggest negative EV parlays I've seen? Absolutely. It's good at getting all the guys alt rushing yards over, and like you're barely getting payouts on those. But yeah, good for him. Cashed out. Appreciate that. At least he got some cash in the bank.
We've talked about the old cash out a few times before on the podcast, and at the end of the day, I mean, if it's money that's it's going to change your life in some way or another, or you're going to lose sleep and you don't want to have the risk, absolutely, you can go for it, even if it's not exactly a plus EV play. All right. Tweet number 2. Raheem Palmer. Just want to make it known. I'm going to say this because it will inevitably come up, and I don't want to feel like we're attacking people from a specific organization or anything like that. I have zero issues with Raheem Palmer. I just have this tweet in particular, which I saw come across from him, which really bothered me. So this is in reference to the Buffalo Bills Minnesota Vikings game this past week, where it was uncertain whether or not Josh Allen would play. So Raheem Palmer tweets, "Market back up to Bills -6. This should be illegal at NFL." Why this particularly bothers me is that whole game, Bills, Vikings, is a massive opportunity for bettors in one way or another. Like massive. And as a bettor, you should want the uncertainty to exist in market. Now, maybe he's frustrated because he bet the Vikings early on or something like that and thought Allen was out. I don't actually know the context behind it, but people want like a situation where it's perfect information, right? And that's going to help nobody. Like, think about how many edges exist in sports based off of
almost
changes
all the edges.
But like go through every sport, right? NHL, on a daily basis, you get a backup goalie. That's an edge in a lot of cases where you can bet right away.
MLB lineups,
NBA lineups. This happens on a daily basis, right? So we do not want perfect injury reporting. This would actually be very counterintuitive to making money in the long run. So that's why this tweet specifically bothered me. In the case of the Vikings Bills game this week, you could have set yourself up for a massive middle that like those don't happen a whole lot in the NFL. Like being able to get the Vikings above a touchdown at one point in the week, Bills -3 at one point in the week. Now, obviously,
almost cashed. Should have cashed.
If Justin Jefferson doesn't make, in my opinion, which I've taken a lot of heat for, the best catch in the history of the NFL.
With the situation tied to it or just in general?
Everything about that, the situation matters because they won the game because of that play. But the catch itself is actually so absurd that you have a guy going up with two hands and a guy taking it away from him with one hand, just barely off the ground, and also has the same element of like the reach back.
So, okay, I'm still going Odell's catch well above that significantly, and for a few reasons. But number one is whoever the Bills' defensive player was, actually escaping my mind right now. That was fourth down. Buddy, knocked the ball down, and we don't have this issue.
Yes.
But, I don't think that Jefferson catch, I think it was obviously an amazing catch, one of the hardest to do, but I don't think it was as good. I'm not saying that Jefferson's not the best in the league. He probably is. But Odell's catch on that, better for a couple of reasons. One, it was a way longer reception in a sense that, like, ball flies in the air longer. Yeah. Jefferson's was like 21-yard catch, 23-yard catch. Two, Odell actually caught that clean. Jefferson doesn't catch it clean. He basically, he didn't actually catch the ball. Like, the Bills player caught it and he ripped it out and then was able to hold on to it, which is impressive.
Yeah.
And then in terms of situations, understand Vikes went on to win the game, which is unbelievable. But like, Odell's catch was the greatest catch in history because it, A, was also a touchdown, and B, was also a hard pass interference,
right?
Which was then declined. It was just an unbelievable catch.
So here's what I'm going to say. First of all, YouTube comments, who has the greatest catch of all time? I think Odell will probably come in at the highest. There's actually some really underrated catches. Sorry, would you say?
Tweet at us too.
Tweet at us as well at Circles Off.
Should I put out a poll?
Yeah, put out a poll.
Put out a poll. That's a good idea. There's some the George Pickens catch this year was amazing.
That was well, I mean that.
Now, this is recency bias, but
if it's a sideline grab and it doesn't, like, I don't like, the situation's got to matter.
Well, of course the situation matters. So like Mario Manningham in this. Well, that was more of a great throw by Eli Manning, but
David Tyree.
David Tyree.
Yeah, but my favorite catch ever, like best actual catch, is DeAndre Hopkins has one.
Yes.
On Houston. That was called back because he pushed off, which it was arguable whether he did or not, and the play didn't even count. But that, in my opinion, is the greatest catch of all time. For actual, like, skilled catches that he made, that anyone has made, it's DeAndre Hopkins in that game when he was on Houston when the play didn't even count. Greatest actual catch, situation, everything involved, got to go Odell.
Okay, Odell Beckham, that catch. I'll never forget where I was when it happens because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, for people that don't know. So everyone's going to call me biased here now and whatever. It's fine. People that know me well, especially who've been following my betting advice for years, know that I often bet against the Cowboys. It's fine. Odell Beckham pushed off of Brandon Carr on that play. You never see it because they only show, all you ever see now is the catch. There was a flag on Brandon Carr on that play, which got declined.
DPI.
Odell Beckham shoved Brandon Carr out of the way on that play.
Maybe.
Imagine. I'm gonna
get that DeAndre Hopkins catch.
Imagine if offensive pass interference was called on that play, and how that would have changed the course of Odell Beckham's life.
To be fair, he was absolutely phenomenal.
He was amazing.
That run.
He was amazing
season,
in that.
Despite that catch, he's getting 2 touchdowns a game. He was blistering people.
But that is synonymous. That play is widely considered, the best catch of all time. Comes up tons, shown it every year tons, and it was very subtle. I'm not saying like it was like it was very subtle, but he shoved Brandon Carr out of the way. Brandon Carr went flying backwards like a couple of yards. Like, I don't know how nobody saw this in real time. I'm the Cowboys fan on the couch yelling, like, not even appreciating the catch because I think it's OPI. But there's been a ton.
I will take this catch right here.
Let's get the link in the description on YouTube here.
I'm going to send this to Zach.
All right. Zach's going to take it. We'll get the link in the description.
Play this right now if you can. This is the catch I will take as the greatest actual catch. Better than Odell.
I can't play it. We're going to get banned. Is this it's an NFL clip?
You get banned for playing a clip of a video?
Yeah, we're toast.
For playing just a slight clip.
Yeah. Can't do it.
It's
NFL.
Without expressed written consent.
Yeah, it's NFL.
From the
we're
NFL.
Toast. You know how much?
We only have the verbal consent.
Dude, you know how much Pat McAfee pays per year to be able to use NFL clips?
How much?
$2 million
Per year.
Well, when you're making
that was the last
30
I had
mil,
seen.
I mean, listen, that's
But that's also a guy who used to play in the league.
that's not
So
insignificant.
if we just like click at NFL Twitter, go through and play their videos, we're banned.
We get copyright infringements left, right, and
As
center.
someone who's dealing with YouTube
I don't
right
even
now
wanna,
on
I
a
don't
regular
wanna-
basis,
Yeah.
I don't want to know what's going to happen if we play this video.
Yeah.
We'll throw it in the comments down below.
That's not
Yeah, yeah,
that's not even cool, man.
It's
That's not even
I'll
cool.
pull up a photo of it. You're talking about the DeAndre Hopkins
Yeah,
sketch?
that's not cool. That's
yeah,
not cool.
I mean, I don't want to see a picture of it.
That's
I
not
want to
cool.
see it in slow-mo,
That's not cool.
like a 30-second slow-mo.
Back to this guy's tweet. Just search DeAndre Hopkins catch that didn't count, and then it'll come up for sure.
Catch yeah.
That will come up. Right there.
Oh man, that you could tell just based off
Dude,
the image.
look at the left. Look at the left.
the top
Play
left
that top
one
left one.
is absurd.
He nabs it like that out of the air, and then in order to catch it, he has to put it through his leg.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
And he makes the catch, but he is called for the push off from earlier.
I'll link this.
I'm also just watching it live on my laptop right now with the live reaction. I guess it's a 40-second clip, top of the screen. Am I allowed to commentate on this, or am I going to get in trouble?
Yeah. Commentate. You're good.
On top of this, oh man, what absurd! It's almost like the I've seen dunks like this before, where guys start behind the legs, get it out in front. It's actually who's this Dolphins corner that gets absolutely roasted?
Xavier Howard.
It is Xavier Howard. It is Howard. Yeah.
Yeah, a good corner.
Oh my God. Yeah. This is but so what's actually even incredible though is he actually pins it to his ass. He sort of like catches it, puts it underneath between the legs.
Like that was a bullet throw. Also, this is not an easy. Like
No,
that's just not even an easy catch to make on with two hands. Like it's that ball's flying by. What a play!
All right, I'll link this in the description.
All right.
DeAndre Hopkins. There's this one clip of him. Also, he's actually when he's on Houston, he's facing Arizona, and then a coach. I don't know if it's Arians or not. No, someone goes up to him and says like, it's like an assistant coach or maybe like a team's coach. Yeah. And he's like, hey, to Hopkins, he's like, hey, just want to let you know, man, like you're the best in the game right now. And then Hopkins just looks at him dead in the eyes and he's like, I know.
So we
He's
actually
mic'd up.
we don't hear a lot of like the post game stuff, right? Where guys go up to each other and talk to them. This past week, Cowboys and Packers, we got the LaFleur McCarthy like meeting at midfield after
What
the
did
game.
they say?
The LaFleur, it was the lamest thing I've ever heard. He just went up to McCarthy. He's like, "Hey, coach, I just want to let you know that I got a lot of respect for you. Got a lot of respect for you." And he walked away. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting to hear, but I was like, "Hey, coach, just want to let you know, got a lot of respect for you." It's like, all right.
I heard an interview with Ryan Fitzpatrick. He said that he hated Tom Brady throughout his career because one time Tom Brady, they just like walked off the field and like didn't shake his hand after.
Well, it was because like Fitzpatrick obviously played on like Dolphins, Bills, and Jets.
Yeah.
He got an ass whooping by New England a lot of times and always like stayed classy. And then he said the one time he beat Brady, he just walked off the field and like had no class. And he was like, I always hated that guy because of that. Now.
Yeah.
He's like, this guy couldn't take one L. Like I lost like 16 times.
Yeah. Ryan Fitzpatrick.
There was
Wait, did we even finish talking about the tweet?
No, okay. So that guy's tweet, the reason why it's triggering is because the market went up from mine. So obviously, like Josh Allen was very questionable. He was at one point expected out, and then he was now going to play. And then it was, wait, is he going to start? Is he not going to start? Whatever. He started. So that's going to fluctuate the line when you're talking about either the best or second best QB in the league with a backup that's not anything great. Case Keenum's, he's not horrible, but he's not a potential starter. He's a backup is what he is. It's obviously going to shift the line significantly. So Bills market back up to -6. This should be illegal. It's like, what are you talking about? Like it just went down because Allen was questionable play and then he came back in. The NFL is so big and you can make so much money that like nobody is hiding that news on purpose to like bait the line and then bet into it. Because if that actually happened, then when the Bills were like -3, if people knew Josh Allen's going to play, then it would just get steamed back up to 6 and the books would move it up. So like it actually is, there's nothing illegal.
no.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, and on top of it, like, I actually thought it was a really good move by the Bills over the course of the week. Like, they kept it as hidden as they possibly could. And, like, I get it. We're betting on games. You want the information you want to know. But again, this creates opportunity. Plain and simple. These are the biggest edges you're going to find in sports. So asking for this to be, like, outlawed, which is kind of what I took away from the tweet, I think is just like, no. Why would you do this? Raheem Palmer bets the NBA a lot. He bets a lot of injury news. Like, we wouldn't say the same thing for injury news in the NBA. Why would you say it for the NFL? Like,
Giannis has the flu. This is illegal.
Yeah, exactly. This should be illegal. The line moves like 4 points. I don't get it. I didn't.
All right, next tweet here.
Okay, this next tweet is like a series of tweets. But
Pizza Man,
do we want to start at the beginning of this one?
I don't, because we'll be here for the next 6 hours if we do.
Okay.
It was a thread between Jeff Benson, who is the sportsbooks operations manager for Circa, and JJ Gruden at Taking the Point 5, who is a TikTok betting content guy, increasing his following on Twitter.
Is John Gruden's nephew.
Is he actually, though? Yeah. I did not actually know that.
Yeah.
He's John. So who's his dad? Jay Gruden.
Jay Gruden.
Is this for real?
I'm dead
Are
serious.
you guys pulling my leg?
No, I'm dead serious.
I have no idea. I'm just going off. This is not Jay Gruden's son.
Yes, it is.
Oh, man.
J.J. Gruden is J. Junior Gruden?
Yes.
I have to. Oh, Jay
Literally
Jay
tweeted
Gruden.
yesterday he's starting a podcast with his dad, Jay Gruden.
So I just quickly Googled Jay Gruden.
Jay Gruden's son.
Jay Gruden has 3 sons. By the way, to each their own. I couldn't help but laugh like a little bit here. Jay Gruden has 3 sons: Jack, Joey, and JJ.
That's fine.
Yes, it's fine.
That's nothing bad. Bro, Leonard Fournette's brother is named Leonard Fournette.
No, but do you see what? No, I get. I don't want to make fun of names or anything. Like, everyone's
the same. It's literally
No, it's not the
roughly
name
the
that's-
same.
It's not the name. It's just like you got John Gruden, and then you got Jay Gruden, and then you got Jack, Joey, and JJ.
Yeah, like, they did it on purpose.
Of course, they're doing
It's
it on
good.
purpose.
I don't think it's anything
It's a
wrong with
long tradition in the Gruden family of naming your son with a name that starts with a J.
that. Fair enough.
Okay, JJ Gruden and Jeff Benson are going toe to toe here. So essentially, how this thread started is that JJ Gruden bet the under 46.5 in the Bills-Vikings game, because he made the total 49.5, and somebody must have knew something.
But wait, go to the thing where he says that he put the total as 49.5. This is
Okay.
Go up. Scroll up. This is it.
It's gonna keep going.
Up.
Keep going.
Sorry. Oh, God.
It's max play alert is
Yeah,
the first
this is where we
tweet.
gotta start.
Max play alert. Minnesota Buffalo under 46.5 has been upgraded into 5-unit max. Let's fucking go. What's the angle, JJ? Says someone else.
What's the angle, JJ? Somebody asked.
Total should be around 49.5, lowest for these two teams. So Jeff Benson, which I love. Jeff is like, he's like my spirit animal, basically. If you made the total 49.5, why are you max betting under 46.5? This logic makes no sense. And that's when we got into a lot more of the back and forth and people chiming in. JJ Gruden said, "This man is officially obsessed with me." And Jeff Benson responds, "I am obsessed with seeing people in the space with a following accurately and appropriately represent things. If you make a game 49.5 and max bet under 46.5 as a big bomb banger, then you're misleading your followers." And he's right. So this is off the top
Why
of the
did he
show.
say that? Like, I don't understand why he said that. Like, you realize this is the equivalent of being like, I'm betting the Maple Leafs tonight versus the Penguins. And you're saying, I'm betting Maple Leafs minus 115. And you're like, yeah, I think they should be plus 160. That's what he's saying. I think they should be plus 160. So I'm going to bet him minus 115.
So this is what I'm talking about, the galaxy brain
But did he make an error in a typo?
He did not. Here's what people. This is what you're not like truly understanding the state of mind of JJ Gruden here. These people believe that the books know something that they don't. There's no way this total can be 46.5. Like, I make it 49.5. This should be like, there's no way they know something. I have to bet the under. That's what the logic is here. That's the thought process.
Like, you realize I joke about that every week. And I text it to you every week. I text it to both of you guys every week. Once a week, I'll text you guys.
Johnny sends like in a Telegram chat, like his lock of the week or whatever. And it's always a pic with some description.
Give us like a sample. Like, what's a game that's going on tonight? Like,
no, it'll be like Josh Allen. Josh Allen was expected all week. Like, he's not going to be able to throw. Got an arm injury. Like, obviously the Vikings are going to win this game. No way they should be getting 7 points. Like with Josh Allen with that arm injury. But also, Vegas knows something. Give me the Bills alt line minus 14.5. That I send that to these guys for jokes.
But this is it.
So, and then these guys are actually doing this.
They're
like,
doing
I'm literally joking
yes.
when you guys obviously know I'm joking.
We know you're joking. I know you're joking, but like this is what's
wait, you're joking? I max bet those.
But they honestly haven't been doing bad.
I know.
But JJ Gruden has almost 21,000 followers on Twitter. I don't know what he has on TikTok, but I'm sure he has a pretty decent following since it's listed in his Twitter profile as well. Like it's just more of this gets spread, right? Over and over. There's some people who know that it's a joke and they do it like jokingly, which is fine. In this case, it's very real. And it's unfortunate because you have a sportsbook operations manager who sees the day-to-day process of it and is trying to tell people it's false. And then you know what the responses are when Jeff gets in this thread? It's like, you work for the sports book. Of course you're going to tell us it's false. Of course you're going to tell us this is the way it doesn't work because you don't want us to beat the sports book. And so, like, how are you going to win at that point when you're the...
Like, you just tweet under him, sure, says the sports book operations manager.
Yes.
Like, that's hilarious, man. These guys are jokes. These are jokes. What's the other one from yesterday?
But you got to get into, like, this part here, Rob. Like, this part that was the initial part that he said.
It's called luring the public on a certain side that's... No, he did not say this.
Yes.
It's made me successful.
It's luring the public on a certain side that's made me successful in the space for a very long time. Contrarian, have you? Coming from a guy that works for a sports book only makes me wonder more. So basically he's saying the books are luring the public and that's kept them successful for a long time as a contrarian.
Yes.
Yeah, man, this guy's like, listen, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. Obviously, his dad was a former coach. I would love to listen to his podcast and just see what's up. But I mean, yeah, like I can't. No, I can't even understand what, like, this doesn't make sense.
People again, I'm gonna, for the millionth time this episode, I'm gonna use the term galaxy brain because I think it really fits in here. But like, sports books have an edge because they charge a vig. Okay? This is where the sportsbook edge is built in. You go play a casino game, there's a house edge. The house edge is the vig with the sportsbook. That's why sportsbooks win money in the long run, because they charge you a premium in order to bet. Plain and simple. It's not because Vegas knows something. A lot of times, it's not even in Vegas where this stuff is originating or where the market is moving. For the most part, you can do things to reduce that sportsbook edge. You can bet into low hold sportsbooks like Pinnacle, for example. If you're in Ontario, that's an easy way to reduce the sportsbook edge. However, that's where the edge is for the book when they're taking bets. In that, typically speaking, most people are going to win at a 50% rate in a long sample size. And you need to win at higher than that in a long sample in order to profit. The whole notion, like, I don't even know what we honestly should have someone like JJ on, because I would love to understand the logic. Like, what do these people think happens? Like, are there some backroom calls that happen in Vegas every week?
These, like, very much think like reverse line movement is a thing.
Okay, so I guess there's different extents because I see it on Twitter all the time. Maybe not the best, like, it's a very, very, small minority of people. But do you think, like, we're at Sundays in the afternoon or like Sunday mornings and the sports books are like, we all need this side, and there's like a call that goes into the NFL and says, hey guys, we all need this. And like then there's the NFL. What are they doing? They're going to then just call the teams. They're going to call the coaches individually and say, hey, guys, you know what? We need the Patriots to win today. Unfortunately, the other team's going to lay down. And then the coaches are going to relay that to all the players. And all the players are just going to, like, what do people, like, the fixing side of things, like the sportsbook knows. Vegas made the call. I joke about that stuff all the time, right? I saw it on my timeline. That's why I tweeted about it this week. Brandon Ayuk dropped a wide open touchdown for the 49ers against the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. And first thing I saw was like, the fix is in. First tweet that came up. Okay, the fix was in that Brandon Ayuk was going to gain separation from his opponent. Like, there's so many things that happened in the play. And then...
What if the NFL actually was fixed and we were just talking shit?
If it was, then I would obviously issue a public apology at some point, but I'm very certain that it's not. Think about the amount of money that players are making, coaches are making, you know, like it's absurd.
No, but like, did you see yesterday what Jeff Benson got dragged into in a Twitter thread? Someone asked him, he's like, hey, Jeff, I know you work for a sports book. Like, I'm basically like rough quoting it. It's like, I know you work for a sports book, so you probably can't say much, but how much do you think these players are getting paid to alter outcomes of games? And then there was a certain person.
That's a great tweet.
By the way, the phrasing of that question is actually so good.
Yeah.
I know you can't say much, Jeff, but whatever you can say here is appreciated.
And then there was a certain person that we know who replied and was like, that saying like, convincing this person that they like meet in back rooms, and like basically come up with discussions and sign NDAs and like get everyone involved, from the sports books to the owners to the refs to the players, and it's like they write scripts and then they know what's gonna happen.
All the players sign an NDA at gunpoint.
No, they just sign an NDA.
Yeah, but like, how many players? Think about, okay. Let's assume that there's a world in which players are signing NDAs, there's fixed outcomes, they have to make certain things happen in the game. Do you know how hard it is to coordinate that, for one? Like, if to coordinate an exact outcome, a team winning by X amount of points and making it look realistic, that's impossible. But these players played at the college level and the high school level. And even before that as well. How do you play high school football and then college football, then make it to the NFL, the biggest stage of your professional career, and you get in there and every single player is now okay with just like, we're not going to compete anymore. We're just going to go. This is a scripted event. It's basically like wrestling.
FYI, it's more likely college football would be fixed because like players don't make money.
That's what I'm saying. At the lower levels, it's way easier.
Yeah, like definitely. And then you could basically bet enough money to still make it worth it. I don't think like the NFL can't be fixed.
It actually cannot be. Yeah. Like it's actually maybe I don't like to use the words impossible, but it's impossible. It's impossible, man. Think about how could this have not got out over the course of 50 years.
I don't know, man. Conspiracies. All right, let's see what else we got here.
That's it.
No, we got a few more, don't we? I got some screenshots, I think.
Okay, while we wait, just wanted to thank our sponsor, Pinnacle Sports. In the meantime, just pulled up my betstamp odds screen here on my computer. So for all these looking to bet the NFL, we talked a lot about NFL. All right, we know line shopping is the easiest way. Pinnacle Sports does not kick out winning players, meaning you can bet there, win $1 million, $1 zillion, $1 billion. They're not going to boot you out, right? You do that at any of the other books, sayonara. Definitely won't run it up to $1 million in your account. Probably get kicked after a couple thousand. So what do we have here? Odds shopping, Pinnacle, offers, low juice. What that means is they will likely have, when it comes to money line spread total for NFL, they should have the best price on at least one of those of the 6 options. So home money line, road money line, home spread, road spread, over, under. All right. Going here, I'm going to go top to bottom. Colts, Eagles, Indianapolis, +6.5, +100. Best line in the world right now is at Pinnacle. Down the list, you want the Bears. You want the over, 49.5, minus -08. Best line in the world. Pinnacle. Commanders versus Texans. Washington, plus 3.5, and the over, 40. Next game, you got the trifecta. You can get the New York Jets, money line, best price in the world. New York Jets spread, best price in the world, and the under. Go down the list. There is one game right now, which is Rams versus Saints. That is the only game on the entire board for Sunday where you will not have at least one of the 6 options, the best price in the world for Pinnacle. Not saying that these are always going to be the sides you want to bet, but if you don't have Pinnacle, you are actually losing money if you don't have money in your Pinnacle account right now, because you're going to place bets, and instead of getting the Colts plus 6.5 plus 100, you're going to get them minus 110 at your sportsbook, and win or lose, you just lost yourself roughly 2.225%.
Yep. I mean, I don't know what else to say. At this point. Like, I've used Pinnacle. I'm very proud to represent brands that I've used for a long time and will continue to use for a long time going forwards. And it's absolutely a necessity in my life and should be in any bettor's life. If it's available to you in Ontario, Pinnacle should be your go-to for sports betting.
As always, go to betstamp, check out for all your odds comparison. Sign up for Pinnacle Sportsbook today. Not available in the USA, but if you're in Canada, you are able to sign up for Pinnacle. And as Rob's and I are saying, like, we're not trying to plug a sponsor here per se. Truly, you need this sportsbook as one of your sportsbooks. It does not make sense to think that you are going to profit long-term betting sports and you're going to be betting at prices that are not the best in the world.
The last tweet I'm going to get to today, there's a lot, by the way, and keep them coming. Anyone who wants to get involved, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening, hashtag tweets that trigger us. We do search them every single week. We pick the best from the bunch. If you also want to DM me on Twitter, you can totally do that. If you want to DM the Circles Off account on Twitter, you can totally do that as well. If you want to drop one into the YouTube comments, link to a tweet that bothers you, we can discuss it as well. Last one, very recent. At Levi the Logic, goes by Levi. Forget that he confuses Penn State and Penn in this tweet. Just completely forget it. It's irrelevant to the tweet. Okay? Public is on Penn State, and line moved to Penn State. Drexel would be the play. But with Penn State 0-3 and favored, Vegas thought everybody would be on Drexel. Looks like a fade game. Drexel 1 unit, though, but could go either way. This is one of the funniest tweets I've seen in a long, long time. Because I quote tweeted this from my own personal account. Levi, I deleted this tweet. I believe he thought that I was mocking him for confusing Penn State and Penn, which has nothing to do with anything. I don't even know where to start with processing what has transpired here in terms of the logic to arrive at a bet, and not only to arrive at a bet, but to arrive at a bet that is opposite of what you thought, and then say it could go either way.
That's the best part about the whole thing.
Okay, Penn and Drexel. Public is on Penn. Line moved to Penn. So this means that also sharps are on Penn, by the way, or at the price that it was.
At the previous price.
At the previous price. So someone with market influence moved Penn. Forget about the public. Public doesn't matter. The line is the line. But because the public moved towards, is on Penn State, Drexel would be the play. So right now he's leaning Drexel. But Penn State is 0-3, or Penn is 0-3, and favored. Vegas thought that everyone would be on Drexel. So when they posted this line, they did not expect the action to be on Penn. They thought people were going to be betting on Drexel. I don't know how that's relevant, but now because of this information, looks like a fade game. Not even sure what that means, but it looks like a fade game. So he's taking Drexel for 1 unit, but could go either way.
He actually can't lose with this. I mean, he lost, but he can't actually lose for his followers now, because if Penn wins this game, he's going to say, knew it was a fade game the whole way. Should have trusted it. Penn, I called it. Penn fade game. If Drexel wins, he's just going to ignore that and just going to say one unit winner.
Now, there's going to be people who are like, okay, maybe they see some logic here or they don't understand particularly what's wrong with it. We did an episode with Chris Bennett a few months back. You should go listen to that episode in terms of how an odds maker actually sets lines. Because this tweet implies that Vegas thinks that everybody's going to be on Drexel. It implies that the odds maker is trying to predict like who the public is going to be on, and the little, like, when people realize how little goes into posting an opening line at a sports book, they would be floored.
But like even breaking it down just like piece by piece, like first part, public is on Penn State and line moved to Penn State.
Yeah.
Chris Bennett and like other sportsbook people that we've talked to or had on before have told us like the public's not going to move.
No,
not going to move the line.
So every sports book that you bet at, you're providing them information with every single bet that you make. That sportsbook is now able to profile every single bettor in their system with a relative degree of confidence in terms of how likely they are to win in the long run. The reason a sportsbook would move the line towards, in this example, Penn State, even though it's Penn, is because someone who, or multiple people who are winning bettors, are profiled as winning bettors, were betting on Penn State. Has nothing to do with public money, absolutely nothing.
You know what? You know, actually, a good tweet that I saw yesterday that made me laugh was someone tweeted it. One account tweeted and was like, "The public doesn't actually move the line," and then someone with a following who may or may not have been in tweets that trigger us in this episode already today replied and said something along the lines of like, "That's what they want you to believe," and then I was just like, man. These people just think like people are out to get them.
I don't know what it is. I honestly don't know. I will say, as someone who's been in this place before, I understand it. But once people start to show you, or like once you start watching odds maker interviews and understanding the space and so on and so forth, change your opinion based off of information that becomes available. Here's what gets me about reverse line movement, okay? People are so fixated on being on the same side as the sharps. This is what the whole premise of reverse line movement is, essentially wanting to be on the same side as the sharps. But now, all of a sudden, when a line moves, like this example right here, in a game, and somebody checks the public bet percentages, and the public is also on the same side, they no longer want to be on that side. They've just dismissed the sharp element completely now, because the public is also betting it. So if you buy into a reverse line movement strategy, which is public is betting here, sharps are betting here, I want to be on the sharp side, then why not just buy into like betting everything the sharps move instead, because the public is also on it? Like, I don't understand the logic behind that. Ken Barkley, you bet or you bet, who goes by Lockie Lockerson. He's,
today he would be Snowy Dayerson.
Snowy Dayerson, something like that. Whatever he changes his name to. Ken Barkley is a great guy. I do listen to You Bet or You Bet. I don't often promote stuff that's outside of the Hammer Betting Network, but I do suggest you check it out. Ken Barkley always says this, which I always laugh at because it's so true. He's like, you know what the thing is about reverse line movement? He's like, you know what reverse line movement really is? It's just line movement. Like, it's line movement. The line is now this. The line is now that. There's nothing with reverse line movement, this and that. It's just line movement. It's the way that the market works, period. Public has nothing to do with it. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. So we can cover reverse line movement till ad nauseum. We should probably do like a standalone video on it at some point, because there needs to be something out there that dispels the entire notion.
We should actually do that. We should pull one up. Maybe schedule that for next month.
Yeah, because it is like the primary way that people are conditioned to bet now. Would you not agree with that?
People are always just looking at ways. That's honestly a longer combo. We should have this another time, but I think honestly, like, people are looking for ways right now to find bets that they think are unique angles. And maybe Rob and I could suggest some other ways that you'd be able to look for bets that might actually be more sustainable. But yeah, this ain't it.
All right.
Before we finish this off, actually, I just have a question for you guys because it's there's two things that have happened recently. So the first one being the Barstool Invitational Basketball Tournament. They broadcast it and commentated it themselves, and they talked openly the entire time about betting, what the odds were, how the odds were being affected. And then on top of that, if anybody was watching in Canada, specifically TSN last night, the Leafs game, Mike Johnson, we've talked about it before, the personalities, he gives out his bets before the game. One of them was John Tavares over 2.5 shots on goal. And Tavares took a shot to get to 3, and the scorekeeper didn't tally it. And Mike Johnson, like, on air, was basically, like, losing it on the scorekeeper for not tallying the shot on goal. I'm just kind of curious, like, because some people were mad about that type of introduction or, like, integration of betting into the broadcast. Like, do you guys have any initial thoughts on it? I know, like, Barstool in their own is a different thing, but more just about how they integrate it. Because it was, like, a fun way of integrating betting into it.
So I do think that eventually over time there's going to be more and more, obviously, integration into live broadcasts altogether. But, like, the amount of messages I get on a weekly basis of like, hey, why don't you stream yourself watching the football games on Sunday? Like I literally get a handful of them a week. It's like, well, I don't want people to see me at my absolute worst in a lot of cases. Like, plus I also, sometimes I'm watching and, who knows what I'm doing when I don't even know the cameras are rolling.
I'm going to have to go, if we could do one of me and you watching football, but then I'm going to have to step away to go to the lab to cook up some more plates.
I mean, sometimes when things aren't going well, you got to get that secret
now.
sauce.
I'm not going to be able to watch the games. I'm going to have to go out to the lab, come back, and then cook up some more plates.
We should actually do like a segment where we're both in like lab coats and we have like all these beakers and whatever. Instead, we just start pouring shit into pots and steaming up, and then we just pull a team out of the pot.
Drexel.
Yeah. How amazing would that be? We're just adding all these ingredients, pouring different liquids in, steaming up, and we just pull out the pick. I mean, someone's going to take that content, by the way. I almost don't even feel like putting that in the episode because it's such a great idea. It will be incorporated more and more. But like, this is what happens when regular broadcasting personalities who don't bet a lot, are starting to get in tune with bet. It's nothing, no disrespect to Mike Johnson. I actually think Mike Johnson's like excellent NHL analyst. I really, really think he's one of the best out there. But if you bet shot props in the NHL, you would know that this happens every single night. Like literally every single night. And sometimes the NHL will fix those after the fact. But guess what? A lot of those plays get graded right away by sportsbooks. It's within the ruling that they're going to get graded at a certain time. So it is what it is. I mean,
it was just funny because he's like, that's a shot. And then Gord, who is the play-by-play caller on the thing, he is like, Johnny, like, they haven't put it up yet. And then Mike Johnson's just like, they better put it up. Like, that's a shot on goal. And he's getting mad at him.
There's been Hitman, who we've had on Circles Off as well. He's part of the Hammer Betting Network. Edge Rush on Thursdays, where he breaks down the entire NFL board. You should check that out. He often just tweets. He bets a lot of props as well. And he often just tweets directly at the league of like, at NFL, just so you're aware, this guy picked up an extra 2 yards on this play or whatever. But like, yeah, it's people are betting. It sucks when that happens. But remember that there's probably going to be times where you make a bet and the incorrect like ruling or stats are going to work in your favor as well, just as much as they're going to work against you. If you enjoyed this episode, please thumbs up. That really goes to help us on YouTube. If you're listening to it, rate and review 5 stars. We do like to keep that very close to a 5-star review, which is, you guys are coming in handy right now. Appreciate that very much. Subscribe to the Circles Off channel on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Circles Off. We'll be back next week.
Signed by Pinnacle in Ontario.
There you go. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Peace, guys.